This is Melissa with Doomed and Stoned. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/doomedstoned. I'm here with the guys from AGE of Taurus. Okay, I understand there's a lot of significance behind the name AGE of Taurus. So, like, where does that come from?
Well, I think I first came up with the name when I was thinking. I came up with the music a little bit earlier, but then as I was thinking about lyrics, I decided I really wanted to do something that was kind of on the sort of fantasy theme. I read a lot of fantasy books, things like Terry Pratchett, Tolkien, and things like that. And I wanted sort of lyrically something that we could sort of work through all of our songs, have a running theme. We could sort of have different concepts that we could explore through our songs, different albums, and just I can't really think. At some point, I came up with the idea for the Age of Taurus, which was an age which was ruled by a half man, half bull, very wicked, mean, hated pretty much everybody, and I just thought it sounded a really, really cool idea, and it also gave me lots of opportunities to write lyrics around the subject. So it wasn't. I'm aware now that there's sort of astrological ages and things which were known as the Age of Taurus, but actually it didn't come from that at all. But I've been asked that quite a few times. It was more of something that just one day came into my head, and yeah, this is really going to work, and I was able to fit the lyrics nicely with the music, and everything kind of started from there, I guess.
All right. So would you consider yourself like a concept band?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of the lyrical content will always revolve something to do with those themes. I don't think I'll never say never. It might sort of go off in a different tangent, but there will always be some sort of connection. So actually, for our next album, I'm already writing lyrics based upon a concept within the concept. So it's going to be a story within the wider story, kind of like a chapter in a book, I guess. So yeah, I think probably we are a concept band rather than we just write concept albums. I think the whole thing is a larger picture, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. When you started Age of Taurus in 2009, it was just you. So, like, what made you decide to bring the other three in?
Well, I think initially I never really had any plans or idea of where the band was going to go. I was writing music for myself. It wasn't ever an actual plan that I'd sort of sat down and said, I'm going to do a band, we're going to play live, we're going to do this. Sort of it's going to be going for an infinite number of years. I didn't really ever think of it like that. But when I'd recorded the demo, it started and people really got into it, and I felt that I wanted to do more with it, and to turn it into a full band was the only option really, because it's fine writing and music and recording music on your own or with sort of minimal help, but actually I very much enjoy and get a lot of pleasure out of playing music with others, and also playing live as well. I mean, that's really where, particularly these days, I mean, you need to be out playing live, and I have that hunger to be out playing live. I enjoy playing live, and so it was really because of that I decided to put a full band together. And so I brought in these guys. They were all people that I'd known for a number of years from different strands of my life, I guess. I think you, Darius, had met with you'd met with Alistair before, maybe. Or had you?
Yeah, I kind of knew him from around the scene, but I didn't actually know him. But
You'd not actually met before,
no.
But had you met Rich before either?
No.
No, I think it was Richard and Alistair had met before a couple of times. We'd all been at a Candlemas gig together in Stockholm a few years before, but we'd never all been in the same room together before that first practice that we had, but it worked really well, and I think that's why it's all worked out really nicely. Everybody got on very well. I kind of knew it. I had a sort of a good feeling in my head when I was thinking about who would work well for the band, and it kind of proved to be right, and it sort of paid off.
Yeah, I mean
nicely.
That's good, because I would think a band is more than just finding the right musicians. You know, I mean, just because somebody is a good drummer doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be good for the band. You know, personalities have to mesh the right way, and you know.
You have to, absolutely.
So.
I think, I mean, we're all fairly like-minded, and we all have we listen to lots of different things. We're all quite open in terms of, we don't have any sort of really strong opinions about politics or diet or anything like that. Some bands revolve around these sorts of things, but I think we're all pretty easygoing, and I think we all get on really well. Well, I think if we didn't, it would have disappeared already, I think. But
because we're based in different countries, it sort of keeps it a bit fresh, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. I mean, our bassist lives in Scotland, and Darius and Alistair live just in and around London, and I live in Norway, and so it does keep it fresh because we're not seeing each other every week.
I understand.
I think you find with a lot of bands that practice for 6 hours every week, they probably get tired of each other quite easily.
Or on each other's nerves.
Yeah, I think it's. So I think that's certainly helped, but it's. But no, I think everybody gets on really well.
Yeah.
All right. You guys seem to take a lot of influence from like classic doom, like Candlemass, as well as traditional metal, like Saxon. Like, who else would you like really credit as a big influence?
Well, I think, as I said before, we listen to loads of stuff, don't we? I mean,
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden is probably the biggest, one of the biggest sort of influences for each of us individually, and you probably find some of those sort of twin guitar things coming through in our music. A lot of new wave of British heavy metal, but also sort of classic hard rock. We all love stuff like Uriah Heep and Deep Purple, some of the old American bands like Grand Funk and Mountain. And obviously Trouble. I mean, with the classic doom. I mean, I think Candlemass, Trouble, of course Sabbath. Above all else, I guess. Without Black Sabbath, then we'd probably. I don't think there would be many bands around these days if it wasn't for Sabbath. And also Judas Priest as well. We were listening to Sad Wings of Destiny, the Priest album, in the car, in the van on the way up today. And we were just thinking about how much that album probably changed the musical landscape in the mid-70s in terms of the way that new wave of British heavy metal went after that album. The way that sort of Iron Maiden had really probably took a lot of influence from that. Things like Merciful Fate probably took a huge amount of influence from that kind of era, Judas Priest. And so, I mean, we listen to so much different stuff.
That's awesome.
But it's, I guess the most obvious things are the classic doom metal bands. I mean, there's so many great American bands as well, stuff like The Obsessed and Penance, Revelation, and even newer bands like Aura Druin. I mean, the list is endless, really, the stuff that we listen to and that influences us. And I think we have such a wide range of influences that it all kind of weaves its way in there somehow.
How is touring different in Europe than here? Is this your first US tour?
This is our first US tour, yeah. I did a one-off show before I was just asked to sort of, if I could jam through some songs from the demo in Baltimore about 4 years ago, and I did that, but it doesn't really count.
Right.
No, we've had to keep that quiet because of the visa.
For the visa application, we had to keep that one a bit, because technically it wasn't really a gig, it was more of a jam. But the touring here has been, I don't know, I think it's probably similar in some aspects that I think the crowds can be up and down. I think you find the same in Britain. Yeah, it's very much the same.
But not mainland Europe, I wouldn't say.
Mainland.
That's different. Yeah.
I think mainland Europe's a lot busier, particularly Germany, the Netherlands. I guess sort of Scandinavia as well is quite decent for underground heavy metal. Norway, Sweden, they've got a really good, vibrant scene. But I think Britain probably is quite similar to the States in terms of you go to some bigger cities and you'll have a better turnout. Smaller cities, it can go either way. Sometimes you have a small show in a small town and it'll be really, really busy because there's nothing else going on. And then you might find actually you go to a bigger city where there's loads going on and you don't get a great show because there's so much going on. So it's I think there are a lot of similarities. It's certainly a lot hotter here.
It's a hot week.
It's been really, really hot. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
this is the first time we've really found it's cooled down today. Yeah, we've been this week. We were in Atlanta last night. We were in Johnson City, Tennessee, the day before, and it was sort of in the 90s. So we've been sweating a lot.
Doomed and Stone voted Desperate Souls for Tortured Times the best 2013 new release. Have you been experiencing a lot of success from the album?
Well, I mean, firstly, that's extremely nice to hear, and thank you very much for whoever it was that actually voted for that, because it means a great deal to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the response overall was really, really positive to the album. There was great reviews online, press, general feedback we got was really good. Of course, there's always some that maybe people aren't so positive about it, but that's but for the most part, I think probably sort of 8, 9 out of 10 reviews that I saw were really positive for the record. So it was it's been really exciting since the album came out. We had a really great year. We played Hammer of Doom in Germany, big festival.
Awesome, yes.
Great show with Jexthar and While Heaven Wept, loads of other bands, Beelzebub. And there was maybe 1,000 people there at that show. We played Roadburn a couple of months ago in the Netherlands, which was just amazing. We played the Rise Above anniversary show last Christmas as well, which was sold out and really, really cool gigs. And so things have definitely been... Well, the fact that we're actually here doing this right now and playing in the States, this wouldn't, if we hadn't had such a good response to the album, we wouldn't have been able to do this. So it's wonderful, really. We've had to pinch ourselves a little bit the last week that we're actually here. So yeah, it's been great. But thank you very much again. We're very, very grateful for the kind words.
Yeah, you guys kind of just seem to like exploded. Like, I like to think that I kind of know a lot about a lot of doom bands, especially ones that aren't like, super well known. But I had never even heard of you guys when that album came out, and I listened to it and I was like, this is really good. Because there's a lot of doom bands, and I don't really mean this like in a bad way, but there are a lot that are good, but there's like sometimes not always something special about them. And I think there's something really special about your record.
Well, thank you very much. As I say, it's extremely nice to hear such kind words. And I mean, we just wrote songs over the course of a couple of years and watched things sort of grow gradually in terms of the songwriting, because we're bringing the other guys in. I'd written everything before, but then everybody was kind of involved a bit more in the songwriting process and stuff. Yeah, I'm just glad that the songs and the album as a whole fitted with people nicely, and everybody enjoyed it. So it's great, and thank you very much.
Whenever you get like stuck writing a song, who do you think of for inspiration?
Ooh. Who do you? This is probably a good one for Darius. When you're sort of looking for good sort of drum patterns and things, who do you?
I don't know. I'm a bit different to these other guys, in that they keep going for like new bands and like stuff like that. But I tend to sort of stay with stuff that I grew up with. So like I just listen to, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Corrosive Conformity, so Reed Mullin in particular, his drumming has influenced me a lot. So like even just listening to old stuff, you're like, oh, like you could do that, or you could do like listening to other types of music. Not that you're ripping them off, but you're just sort of taking ideas, or like, oh look, they slowed that bit down or speeded it up, or
looking for patterns.
Different like drum patterns.
I guess that's the same guitar-wise. I mean, I definitely lots of Trouble and Candlemas, and Tony Iommi's always a good place to go. And listening to, I particularly find actually that the the 3 records, particularly Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, for some of the riffs on those records, I mean, they're mind-blowing. I mean, I love all Sabbath stuff, but for some reason, more recently, I've been going back to those records and getting quite a lot of inspiration from some of his work there. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to say, really. We listen to so much different stuff. Iron Maiden again. Iron Maiden's a big one for us. Thinking about harmonies, guitar harmonies, vocal patterns. There's some great vocal harmonies with Adrian Smith, and the song structures as well, and the way they work. I think that's it. More so structures and patterns rather than
stealing riffs.
Stealing riffs. I'm not going to come out and admit that we're just playing someone's riffs backwards. I'm sure that happens occasionally.
Yeah.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, even by accident.
Well, there's one song on the album, Walk With Me, My Queen, which when we started playing it and I started singing the lyrics that I had for it, we realised it was so similar to Samaritan by Candlemas that we really had to rework the lyrical pattern. And then someone sort of said, you know, this song really sounds like Samaritan. So yeah, it's even though we try and avoid sounding too much like other previously written songs, I guess it does just happen by default. I think it's hard to avoid.
Let's talk about the cover art for a minute. It's a piece called An Avalanche in the Alps, which I think is really cool. Why do you feel it's appropriate for the album?
Well, it was I was looking for, or rather we were looking for a piece of artwork that really fitted the record. We were trying to find something fairly quickly, and ideally, I mean, if I'm honest, we would have had something actually painted from scratch. But time-wise, for the album, we kind of ran out of time a little bit. So I started to think, well, maybe we can actually find something that will really work. And as soon as we saw the picture, we all sort of, yes, that's the one. That really fits with the whole concept of the album. Again, quite a few people have said, oh, that really reminds me of the Candlemas artwork. The first 3 Candlemas records are very, very similar. Nightfall, Tales of Creation. Rather, the first 3. It's really the second, third, and fourth. Ancient Dreams, Nightfall, and Tales of Creation that have a very similar sort of artwork style. But yeah, I think it just all of us, we were looking for something. It was at the Tate Gallery in London. We were very, very lucky that we were actually able to use it and that they gave clearance for us to use it. I think it was painted in the early 1800s, so it's not sort of that old, but it's.
Well, I was going to say it worked out for the best because I don't think we could have got anyone to paint to that similar.
To that standard.
Yeah, no one these days paints like that.
Yeah, that is true.
It was. Should we go and see if we can escape a bit quieter, or is this okay?
I just have one last
thing. Well, we can...
Alright, lastly, what would you like to say to your fans?
Oh, well, again, thanks for all the support. Thank you so much for the kind words, for the reviews, for the voting for our album, and for just the general feedback that we get, and also the reception that we've had in the States, particularly since we've been here, has been just amazing.
Everyone's friendly, yeah.
Everywhere we've been, we've had such a good experience, so many kind words, and hospitality has been fantastic, people just buying us drinks all over the place and wanting to just talk about music, talk about life. So yeah, I think really the only thing we can say is thank you so much for the support, and we'll be back with a new album early next year. We're going to be recording hopefully towards the end of this year, start of next year. It'll be out on Rise Above Records in probably spring next year, and we'll be back touring the States again.
Before the visa runs out.
Yeah, we have annual visas, so the great thing is that we can come back and we can tour again by the end of next May, so you can absolutely guarantee you will see us back in the States before next June. So it's going to be a spring tour at some point, and we'll be back, and we can't wait. But we've still got another week left of this tour, so thank you to everybody and everybody we met on the road, and thank you to you, Melissa, as well. And,
All right.
That's about it.
Thank you.